Welcome back, familia, to Open Delta Podcast. I am so excited to be back home, back in Chicago, back with Rocky and Simba after some wonderful days and weeks in Riviera Maya in Cancun. I am still preparing the recap for Dr. Joe. There's so much to unpack, so much that I'm still integrating, and I want to give you a comprehensive overview of what I been through, experience, learned about myself, and just really seeing Dr. Joe live was truly transformational. And today's moment of gratitude, the fact that I'm here, that I'm feeling a little sick, so if you see some Kleenex, don't mind me. And I think it's part of us being human, the ups and downs, the highs and lows. And it's kind of a little bit about today's topic of a little bit of goal planning, but also the moment of reflection. I realized now that I'm on the reflection side of my retreat, I've been wanting to go for so many years. And it wasn't until this year that I said, I'm setting a very strong intention. I've been saying I wanted to go and I want to make it happen. How do I make it happen? And like I mentioned before, the event was sold out in 5 minutes. There were 11,000 people in the wait list. Just being in the room, being in the presence of everyone. This was the first time that Dr. Joe and his staff made any sort of event like that. So I didn't know that the first time that I was going to attend this specific retreat was going to be so life-changing, so transformational. So I do want to acknowledge that this was a goal years and years ago, and it was really, really a goal because I had the desire, the determination, and figuring out how I was going to make it happen earlier this year. So I know we are wrapping up the year with the holidays and New Year's Day and New Year's Eve and the fresh creative energy that comes out of it. And I was actually talking to Ana Paulina today, and one of the things that she was talking about is that she's doubled down on wellness. She still wants to stay in shape over the holidays, wants to eat healthy. She's giving up coffee and matcha for the time being. And this notion of, if you want to do something, why not start it now? You don't have to wait until 2025 or the next year to keep delaying your goals, because the way that you become the person that you want to become, it's by this micro step, the what are you doing with your habits, with your routines, with your rituals. And so I love that for her because she's not delaying that until next year. We always say, oh, I'm going to start next week, I'm going to start tomorrow, I'm going to start next year. But really what we have, it's right now, the present moment. And so it's really about a two-phase approach. What are some of the things that you're really proud of? I think most of the time we do stuff and we check that box and we move on without that moment of reflection. And that's what I'm trying to really honor for this retreat, because there were so many learnings. And even earlier this year, 2024, I still had a house earlier this year. Rocky and I sold our house end of January, and it was in a very hectic time in our lives. We were selling the house. I was traveling for a project. There were birthday, graduation, surprise engagement parties, bachelor parties around that time, and it is crazy that that was still this year when all of that was happening. So honoring all of the things that happened for you this year, whether they were good things or not good things, there is always room for improvement. And also, maybe right now that you have a little bit more of a downtime, that you give yourself permission to dream. What are some of the things that you've been wanting to do for the last couple of years, and for whatever reason you postpone them or prioritize other things over them? To me, self-care, now that I came from a meditation retreat, I want to prioritize meditation a lot more. I had tremendous experiences doing it, and I want to continue having them. And like almost anything in life, it's a muscle. You have to build it and nurture it and have consistency around it. And so, what is one of the things that you want to embrace soon? I don't want to say next year. I don't want to say next year, like soon into your life, that you can start doing today. That way, day by day, week by week, that you continue to do this. It's part of you. It's part of your essence. I shared a lot of my grandma during the retreat, because Dr. Joe would do a teaching moment, and then we would have to repeat things to each other to make sure that we understood the concept, especially when you're talking quantum physics or energy or level higher subconsciousness. You know, sometimes talking about different dimensions, it's kind of the first time that you're speaking those things out loud. Maybe if you've read them, maybe you've learned it from YouTube, or maybe, you know, just from hearing Dr. Joe having those conversations. But it's very different understanding or hearing the information and then repeating the information. And through those exercises, a lot of the thoughts that would come into my mind would be my grandma, because my grandma has so much of this information from wisdom, from her mother, from maybe her own intuition. And I think it's very related to the fact that since I remember, she's been meditating. Part of her morning routine, it's waking up, no phone, gets her vitamins, and one of the first things in the morning that she does before she showers, before she does anything, is she meditates. And I just think that compounded with exercise, she has this workout routine that is indoors, that works for her, like no equipment, that she has done, at least I know, for the last 30-40 years. And the reason I know, it's because when I was little, I would like sit next to her and try to do the things that she's doing. And so she would say that it was very cute that I was like 1 year old and trying to copy whatever she was doing. And so I want you to have that moment of reflection. I want you to have that moment of dreaming, because it is on the recognition of reclaiming your own power, knowing that you are living the prayer that you've been asking for. A lot of the times, because of our hectic lives, we don't realize the blessings that are around us, the blessings of whether the home, the coworkers, the family, or maybe the new people that you've been introduced into your life. And I feel very grateful for the new community that I have from the retreat, that it's, you know, full of wisdom, full of love, full of embracing one another and trying to support each other along our journeys. And yeah. Remember that you are the creator of your own life. And today's mini episode, I want to close it out by Think and Grow Rich. I read this book, I think it was last year or earlier this year. And the first step to the riches that Napoleon Hill shared, one of the things that I'm actually grateful that somebody pointed out, this book was written very long time ago. And so a lot of the pronouns are actually in he and him, when a lot of this information applies to men and women, or anything in between. And what he says is the first step to the riches is that it's not a wish that you have in your heart. It is a pulsating desire which transcended everything else. it was definite. So if you have anything that, like I mentioned before, the podcast that kept coming back to me, if you have an idea, whether it's a book, maybe it's your own podcast, maybe is you want to start your own YouTube. I've ran into a lot of people that they want to put themselves a lot more out there on social media, whatever it is. He mentions that the definite goal is to place all of your energy and all of your willpower and all of your efforts into achieving this goal. And I think it might not seem so obvious, because like that is the point. Like if there is something in your heart that you really want to come to fruition, put your willpower into it, pull your energy, pull all of your effort into making it happen. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. If that is going to make you happy and it's going to make you a better person in the process, go for it. I can't wait to hear more about it, and I'll see you on the next one.